Do you play trading card games? Of course you do. That's why you're listening to/watching this thing. If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And I'm Solemn.
Hi.
SolemnVanguard is back after it's been years at this point, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Years? Now I feel old.
Probably.
What the hell?
Well, our show is I think we're coming up on year 6.
Somehow.
Yeah. So we haven't had you on the show in a long time.
Yes, yeah,
just a crime.
Zarzan?
Since Zarzan, yeah.
Yeah.
Zarzan. Oh yeah. That's
that was a
good
lovely
times.
moment.
Dude.
The card's now old enough that I could probably make a history video about it.
Yep.
Do it. What's stopping you?
That card was something, even at 1.
Yes. The last 2 years, though, because of COVID and everything, don't feel like they happened. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, because they're like, all right, we're halfway through 2022. I'm like, it just kind of feels like we went from 2019 to now.
Yeah,
yeah, especially in card game wise, at least. I tweeted this out at one point. Like when it was 2018, a 2014 tournament result felt like Boomer Vanguard. Whereas when I now think back to 2018 tournament results, I'm like, nah, that was yesterday. So really weird.
Yeah. Oh, the same amount of time. And well, just because Vanguard doesn't really have a great online option, so there was not really any development of meta or a lot of tournaments or anything. There was BRO, and that was on the latter half of the pandemic instead of in the early.
Yeah. We had a year of nothing basically.
Yeah, but also the actual meta didn't develop because the same decks were meta for a whole year.
In V, definitely. Though in Premium we had pre-Katrina ban was a COVID era that we never had anything. And then we had Premium Collection come out, and we had Zarzan and so forth. So that was a new meta. And then we had the loop decks, I guess.
Yeah, the crazy loop decks, and then the super ban list that killed everything.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna do what they gotta do. Although we're talking about the ban list today that was dropped. At the time you're hearing this, it was about 5 days ago. At the time we're recording this,
it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The wound is fresh.
The wound is fresh, and our takes are probably going to evolve. But let's go through this thing. So, starting off,
we got the exact same standard restrictions.
Yep. So, what's his face? Darkstrain Dragon to 1 in from Cater. Choice Restrictive Magnolia and Inlet Pulse Dragon, and then in V Premium, Bermuda Triangle got their Prism. Is that Rosa? Is that
yes? It's Rosa.
Rosa got hit.
Yeah, probably the card that needed to die for Prisms.
Yes.
So, in a vacuum, I agree with this ban. Prism has been good since its release and kept being good throughout 2 separate clan collections and the previous ban list where they hit Coutier and Ellie. So this probably needed to happen for them to just absolutely murder the deck. I think the only problem right now is that because Gold Paladin is also very strong, that now means we have 1 uncontested really strong deck instead of 2.
Yes, it's a problem. It's like a power vacuum was created.
Especially with the next clan collection on the horizon.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and Holy Shine Liberator. I live pretty close to Richard. To those who don't know, Richard is the head guy for Nexus Core. He's played Gold Paladin since BT 14 or something. And when I woke up to this ban list, I could hear his laughter off in the horizon.
Yeah.
He said, I imagine this ban list as Gurgit twerking as Percival throws money at him.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's kind of amazing that Percival got out of this, considering the instant they changed the restriction, Gurgit immediately became top meta again. And we all pretty much everyone has already figured out that it's going to be even better, like coming up with Holy Shine. So the fact that they like didn't hit the other best deck in the format when getting rid of one of the two oppressive decks is like kind of insane.
Yes, especially because people are like, oh, but it's because Holy Shine isn't out yet. But it's like, Holy Shine wasn't designed to be like Gurgit's lapdog. You can still like reinstate a choice restriction between Percival and Gurgit, and it would be fine.
Yeah, but also like the Prism cards help the upcoming duo cards. That didn't stop them from banning Rosa.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not even like consistent if that was the reason.
It just seems like either they have like a weird love for Gold Paladin, which historically they do. They like for all of Boomer Vanguard, they were just kind of getting.
I mean, they were a main character deck for a while.
But and then like now, post G and Stride and everything, that they just kind of got all their stuff back. And then just keep getting thrown several bones until they kill everyone. So, huzzah.
Yeah, I think maybe like early on in the season, like that's the data they used, and early on in the season, Gurgit wasn't really running around that much just yet. Like a lot of people knew about it and were talking about it, but not a lot of teams were really repping it yet, and so its top representation early on was nowhere near Prism's. I don't know.
Like I think like early Springfest things like Jewel Knights kept showing up in like top cuts, but then like about halfway through the season, it just became like Prism Gurgit everywhere.
Yes.
So V not so fun. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I
but
think
also
it's
they
the
had
one
like
that-
3 extra weeks to like look at what everyone was saying and to create this ban list.
I think they didn't.
I think it was done on the previous announcement, and they just sent it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just delayed it so like Australia didn't have to like worry or have like miscommunication of, oh, does this ban list apply, something like that. So they just like kept it till after Australia. I don't know. I refuse to believe that this list came about from 3 extra weeks of work. I don't think so.
That they copy pasted and they just didn't want the like confusion, right? So,
Yes. Well, copy paste plus Rosa based on like older results from English, I think.
So the latter half of the ban list. Okay, so preceding this, I just want to say that the things that people are worried about or think that should be hit in general are Order Colony, so Ruination Dragon plus Meta Colony.
I mean, let's be real. Everyone is saying specifically Gridora.
Yeah. Nightmare Dolls. And to a lesser extent, Stunverse in Narukami.
Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
who you are. Yeah.
There's a lot of people also talking about other things. Like, there's some people going, oh, Navigator because of a Scaredic thing, or Akari because of a Bermuda thing. Some people are saying Kutire. But those are like, minority, minority of
Like,
the...
those haven't been doing enough to warrant a ban right now.
No, not
Yeah,
even
but from
close.
the main prize, yeah. It's
Like
you said.
Gridora, something from Nightmare Dolls, and like Stunverse.
Yeah. So, this is what we got for premium.
So, as you can see, there are no Narukami cards on here.
Yes.
Where's the Nightmare Doll hit?
Yeah, I don't see it either. I see
okay.
Harry getting nuked, but...
Okay, for some people listen to this show. There's a choice restriction between Masquerade Master Harry, the Stride, and Nightmare Doll Alice, and they also restricted Ruination Dragon to 1 in Meta Colony.
Did they just pick a Stride at random from the Pale Moon G Zone?
Maybe.
They picked an important Stride from the Pale Moon G Zone, to their credit.
Well... yeah, from Harry decks, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, well, because you typically go Dark Lord Princess into him.
No,
Or-
not even.
No.
In Nightmare Dolls, you go Dark Lord Princess into Yvette almost always.
I see.
But in Harry, you would. In Harry, you would Dark Lord Princess into this Harry. But
Yeah.
in Nightmare Dolls, whatever.
As soon as this ban list hit, like, the reaction I saw from, like, basically everyone was, oh, so nothing happened to Nightmare Dolls.
Yes. Well, something happened to Nightmare Dolls. Its biggest counter got nuked. So,
Well, and the other hit being Ruination Dragon, which does a lot.
Yes, yeah, that destroys the deck. Like people were saying, "Oh, Gridora is the problem. Gridora is the problem." If you have touched this deck without orders, you understand that Gridora, while like a really unfair broken card, is still in a clan that has nothing going for it. So I played it today, by the way. Like yesterday and today, I
Okay.
said, "Noman, come on, I'm gonna play a dumb deck." We're not even properly testing at this point. I don't know why. So I
Because
played
Noman has his invite, obviously.
I don't know. So just I played Gridora V plus basically the previous deck, but I replaced the order stuff with other Mega Colony good stuff, and the deck is just so fair. It's almost like pathetic.
The new Stride can't like help it out enough.
It's like,
Interesting.
yeah, but it costs a CB for every stage that you want to use. So you're like, people say, oh, you have free CB with High Class Moth, and that's true, but it's still heavy. Like when you're trying to go like Gridora, that's a CB. That Stride Malignantis, that's a CB. If you want to do another one, that's another CB. And then you also have Giraffa, which you still need to use the CB off because you want him to get big enough in order to be a big restander for whatever you call out of deck, which is Hell Demise or Intrude Scissors. If you don't do that, your numbers are awful. This is something people aren't seeing because in Order Colony, you had double front trigger constantly. So you didn't really need to Giraffa at all times. You had Book plus Persona Ride, but now you really need to activate that Giraffa. But if your opponent has an empty field, first of all, that Giraffa is like a 9 or a 14k, and then that already sucks. So now you're hoping to pay 2 CB to basically get back the power you previously had for free. Yeah, it's really, really mediocre. And then you don't have a hand either. Like even decks that whose mechanic you lock out, like Pale Moon and Grand Blue, still have larger hands and bigger pushes than your tiny hand can play through. So I very often do a tiny little Gridora turn that's completely worthless and end with like 6 cards in my hand. And like, yeah, they don't get to play the game, but they can play vanilla Vanguard and it will be enough to kill me. Like that's how sad this deck is now. So
All right.
So that's all she wrote. Basically, it's dead. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some people are talking about Flagberg Colony, which has like pretty solid aggro, but it has no hand whatsoever, and it doesn't have protect markers either. So, yeah, I don't know about that.
That's interesting. I think because like, what does Flagberg have going for it? That
Freestanders and Persona Ride.
Oh, because you have Inlet Pulse. I forgot about
Inlet Pulse. And some people are also playing the Grade 2, but that thing like doesn't even hit without Malignantis, the new Stride, and Persona Ride. So that's a bit awkward. But yeah, you have Inlet Pulse essentially.
So I mean, like Inlet Pulse is a pretty solid tool. Like
yes, that's true.
Refunds itself at the end of the turn.
And if you have a way to call things from Soul, that's fun.
Yeah,
Although I don't think a lot of decks that can play Stoicheia cards do.
Magnolia Grade 4.
Spiritual Body Condensation, like, in a weird way.
That's true. Yeah, because you blast it out, call it back.
But
yeah, yesterday morning the morning of the Banlist was revealed, my friend Peter just started talking about Flagberg immediately. And
yes,
I don't know where he is on it. I assume he'll tell me whether I want to know or not.
Yeah.
Peter's like a Mega Colony fan, right? So he will like try to build the optimal version of it, regardless of how like good it is. But you know, having played this thing at full power and now going to without the orders, I'm like, ugh, I don't know about this one.
It's a like they Marie Antoinetted the top deck, and then for the next big contender, it was like an aesthetic choice where they're like, all right, these two can't be together. Like, okay, and like, it's like in school where someone gets in trouble and they're like, all right, you two can't hang out anymore, and like they hated each other. They're like, yeah, okay, so fine with me.
Yeah, I guess Link Joker now becomes slightly painful sometimes, maybe, kind of, against
because he can't do the Harry Strike get lost out of the way.
What Link Joker, though? Like, I don't think anyone's going to be playing Chaos without Zinc. or
I
whatever
don't
that
think
card
anyone
was.
is-
That count.
Yeah.
And then Messiahs haven't gotten supported in like 3 sets now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
So,
I liked the idea of Messiah, or like
Me
for
too.
the whole multi-attacking. I thought that was cool, but
Yeah. It's okay. We're gonna get absolutely destroyed by Glendios.
I don't know about that one.
I don't even think about that card. It's too sad.
you ruined my life. I don't even think about you at all. So,
Yep.
well, seeing what this ban list is, which is like, hit and miss is the best way I can describe it.
Well, more miss than hit. I also think one important one that's missing is the over trigger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Please.
Yeah, we can't.
They can't keep getting away with this, but they can.
I think it's like a point of pride at this point. I also like I have a conspiracy theory that I think it's just Japan stopping the West from like doing the things they want to do. Because like when we had the other like when we had Keita Mori, suddenly the West was doing all these awesome changes as if they had gotten freedom, and then now they like went into the new partnership type of deal where you have like is it Shuichi Taira as the Western producer and you have the Japanese producer, but they have to work like together, I guess. So my assumption is kind of that like Japan still has the executive decision, let's say, because it's very typical of Japanese companies to still want to have some control. And so when they don't see a problem or when they're like really set on something, I feel they're like vetoing. But again, that's just like my assumption. Yeah, I don't know. And I think at this point, over triggers are like a point of pride for them that they refuse to like give up on, even though like everyone, like a large majority absolutely despises it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the non-games that it just makes just randomly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And especially the ones that have like permanent game-altering effects, like
Yeah,
the lyrical
lyrical.
over trigger.
And
Yeah, the
Dark
lyrical
Saber's
one is
Overtrader.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's honestly like one of the crazier things about Highlander that isn't talked about very often is like Highlander will thin the deck so much and will live for so long that it is bound to happen at some point, and the only like question is when. But then like they're always gonna have the effect at some point if they can keep on drawing a billion cards. So it's like it makes it even more crazy.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting if we could. Okay, maybe this would have been more feasible pre-pandemic, where you organize a tournament, make it as high profile as you can, and just part of the rules is no over triggers.
Vision tried to do that.
How'd that go?
with like a more extensive ban list, I think that ended up being kind of close to what we got anyway, and people were really mad.
Oh, why is that?
There was
I don't know, but my thing with like custom ban lists is always it doesn't feel real. Like you're playing a format that the official company doesn't recognize, so whatever you achieve in it, this wouldn't fly in the real event. So this is not even a real event. It feels like, even though it might be an objectively better format, as long as it's not like recognized as official, it feels fake and wrong to a point where even in Yu-Gi-Oh, those things constantly fail. Like PPG or was it ARG? I'm forgetting now. Tried to do their own custom ban list in Yu-Gi-Oh, and people were just saying like "fuck off." people didn't want that. So
yeah, even when Yu-Gi-Oh goes through its horrendous formats every year or two,
every month.
Yeah.
So, gotta ask this: in a perfect world, what would this ban list look like? Like, what would the correct things be to hit?
Should we all go one by one?
Yeah, let's do it. Guest first. Have at it.
Okay, I'm gonna make it really big. In standard, I think it's quite all right. Like, I think the format, even before this hit, was pretty diverse, pretty cool. Sure, Magnolia was maybe a little bit too much. So the inlet choice restrict, I'm probably okay with. I would have probably even been okay with like an inlet at 1 in Magnolia, because even though you can then like Saki 1 off, let's say, it's still not going to be the biggest problem in my opinion. But overall, standard, if this is the only hit, cool. Then for V, I think the Rosa hit had to happen. But I also think, obviously, Gurgit should have been hit. But then, even then, I'm like, are you supposed to hit stuff that is coming in Clan Collection? Because some people are like, oh, Luard is also going to be crazy. We should hit that too. But it's like, well, you do want formats to change, right? You do want a level of power creep sometimes and things to be changed. So, like, I don't think you should hit Luard just because good support is coming. I think you should only hit something when it's like already insane and good support is coming, like the Gurgit issue we have. So pretty sure like Prism plus Gurgit had to happen, but I'm not, I don't think it was smart to then hit Luard on top. The only question I have is like, how long do we want certain decks to live in their exact iterations? Like, for example, next, like at the top of the block, let's say, would be Nitros. Do you want to play the same Nitros for 3 years? I don't know. Like, some people might say yes, other people might say, oh, it's getting pretty stale, even though the Prism meta is done, if you're just playing the same deck in the same way for 3 years anyway, still doesn't feel that incredible. But that's an issue that V is going to have, I think, forever until Clan Collection starts actually power creeping, which they've been very, very afraid of. So I guess for now, I would say like just Prism and Gurgit, but I do have like that little asterisk, let's say, where I don't know what you want to do to keep things fresh. Then for Premium, I would have choice restricted Ginny with Leslie. That was an idea that Derek had at one point, because I said just ban Ginny, but his idea was like, well, let people choose. And I think, sure. I think that actually ends up being the same as ban Ginny, because I think people would just always pick Leslie. But okay, if you want to give people the choice, that's all cool. So probably that for Nightmare Dolls. Then Stunverse I would ban. I know like people have been asking for like a Stunverse ban for a long time, but I feel Exterminate makes it like the actual issue card now. It has always been unfair, but now it's like you play around it, you get punished for it. You don't play around it, you get punished by it, which feels pretty bad. And Stunverse, obviously, like, no matter what they keep printing for V cards or even overdress cards, it's gonna scale with it. So it's not future-proof at all. It's basically Gusty issue all over again. Just it came back slower because we didn't have good Grey 3s being printed beyond Vanquisher for Naru. I think Navigator should probably be banned. Not because, like, right now it's necessarily an issue, though you could argue it is. More so because, again, it's, like, awful future-proofing. Like, can you imagine painful choice in Yu-Gi-Oh? I think Premium Premium needs to, like, kind of... It's not really painful choice, but, like, Grass is Greener, all those types of cards where you instantly turn your entire drop zone without any cost from turn 1 into, well, your deck into your drop zone, let's say, set a very, very dangerous precedent. And so we already saw like some people trying crazy turbo combos, and that's only going to get worse. And it all starts with that card. So just put it to 0. I know I'm a Grand Blue fanboy, but like, I don't want cards to become collateral damage in that clan just because of the actual issue card, which is Navigator long term.
Remove the cause, not the symptom, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I think their hit for Order Colony was fine. Again, like, people might say that Gredora is like the problem card, and sure, it's an insane card, but right now it feels so fair that I'm like, whatever. I'm not even like a huge fan of the clan. I like it, but I don't have a big emotional attachment or anything. So it's fine where it is now. It's now a tier 2-ish deck, which is fine by me. I think you might want to hit Akari 2-1 because there's people already like playing weird deck out loop things now.
With that stupid promo.
Yeah, with the promo.
And I'm that's like, how you go infinite with that.
Yes, let's just no one's playing Akari at more than one copy for anything but weird BS like that. So let's just get that out of the way. If you
like, I was seeing people talking about like deck out loops with that Bermuda promo, and I'm like, how do you go infinite with it?
Yeah, it's pretty like weird, but the fact that you can is just like toxic as hell. So just get that out of here. We don't want deck your opponent out decks on turn 3 in the game.
Mhm.
What else? I see some people talking about like ripple stuff. Maybe, I guess. I haven't really played with it yet because it's BRO first and we don't have clan collection. So maybe that, I don't know, I haven't tested it, but those were like the immediate ones on my mind. How about you?
I was on, as far as premium goes, I was definitely like thought they would just ban Ginny. But I think the choice restriction makes a lot of sense as well. But yeah, I was, but then, I guess they're not going to do that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Meg Colony hit is more than I expected, I think. I don't know. I expected something worse. I don't know what.
Choice restrict the dragon in the book. That'll fix it.
Something ridiculous. But I think that's also more than I expected. I don't know if I think I guess I don't know if Sunburst should be banned, but it definitely feel like I can definitely understand that feeling. That a card is very, very obnoxious, especially with the actual good cards in our commies getting occasionally. And you're exactly right with the exterminate via Stunverse is kind of like no win situation. Yeah, so that also feels reasonable. As far as V, I'm still not sure what you're supposed to hit in Gurgit. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to like go back to the choice restriction or like choice restrict, but also put Percival to 1, or
probably
like
both. Yeah.
1 Percival or 4 Gurgit, right? Like something weird like that. I'm not sure. And then obviously over triggers I want gone forever in every in every format.
Same.
And then I don't know. I thought D was okay. I didn't think anything was that ridiculous, but that's why I play Kyrie, I guess.
Yeah. So going in order, standard, I think it's fine as is. I weep for Magnolia getting hit, but the grade 3 version with Persona Ride means like, and so I can keep Inlet Pulse, and it means I can run N-Bar again. It just means I have to like, innovate or die. And if I gotta do that, so be it. Let's see. For V, I think talking to Richard, because I'm just taking all my Gold Paladin takes from him, basically. He says, do the choice restrict again. I don't think you need to put Percival to 1 in addition to the choice restrict. But you can probably do that and get away with it. If it's still bad, do it again, right? If it's like still bad, post that, then put Percy to 1. I think it should at least get a fair shake.
One question.
Yeah.
When he says just choice restrict and don't put it to 1, does he own a max rarity Spectral Duke deck?
No. He does own a Spectral Duke deck.
Oh.
Not max rarity.
Well,
like, again, this is coming from someone who like stands the clan super hard, right? So there's that little bit of bias in him, right? And then for premium, okay, so you're probably going to kill me for this. I think you could put Stunverse to 1 and be okay, because playing against my friend who has been extensively testing all the new stuff, like with proxies and things like that, it's not the first Stunverse that kills you; it's the second one.
Yes.
So having the 1, like, yeah, great momentum. You can probably it's still like a good knockdown, drag out fight after that. But that second one just rips out your whole hand and like takes your whole drop zone away from you. It like the bind zone, like there were several games where my bind zone was like almost twice the size of what I had left in my deck. It was crazy. So yeah, I think putting it to 1 would have been fine. If they gotta ban it, they gotta ban it. But I think 1's okay. The choice restrictive Ginny and Leslie is fine, although just banning Ginny seems, in a world with Excel circles and that kind of thing, being able to semi-loop Alice is probably a bad idea. So
yeah, maybe, but it doesn't have power then. So I don't know.
Hitting the dragon's okay too. I would like it if they didn't want to do that and they wanted to keep the little like gimmick thing of like, all right, play the book, draw 3 cards. Is you could do Gridora to 1, and like that would probably still be okay. I know errataing is always kind of the nuclear option, but I think if they wanted to do that, they could also have it not shut off G guards. Just be like, you can't call cards to R except from hand.
Yeah.
Right? That would probably be a way to fix that if you wanted to keep it at 4. But I know that's like the fucking red alert hit the panic button thing. So
I'm not a huge fan of Marauders with no reprint though.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a hard sell, I think.
Have people argued with you about Neburos and like the text on the card?
Me or you?
You.
Me or him? Me.
You.
Okay. So no, because first, nobody can read.
No, that's-
Second, I think 2 people have asked about it. They're like, "Wait, this is gauges," and then pull up the card. There you go. They're like, oh, okay.
Okay,
That's it.
okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Happens very rarely. Does it happen to you?
It's happened to me a couple times, yeah.
Okay. All right,
I'm just like,
Thank God I don't play Rivier.
yeah. Yeah.
Although I think they did reprint it with the errata.
Did they?
I'm not sure.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because that's a VR, right? I don't think they have.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Oh, and nuke the OT from orbit. But
Oh yeah.
we knew that.
I think that's a popular opinion.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from this.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, I'm just going to echo the opinion of nuke over triggers. They're not fun. Nobody likes them. Like, I'm pretty sure if you showed this to someone who played a different TCG, they would just be like, "That's not a real card."
They did that actually. They a Yu-Gi-Oh player like
That's right.
reacted to Vanguard cards and they thought the overtrigger was fan made.
Wait, was that
That's
Dual
dual
logs?
logs.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
So standard, I think the meta is fine. Like, obviously, they decided to slap Magnolia. Just apparently in Japan, that was a bigger problem. I still think the Dark Strain restriction was a bit weird, but okay. I guess that was also a problem in Japan, and also maybe because Bastion decks haven't changed in like the entirety of standard.
You got to use that set order. No.
That order sucks.
So bad. So yeah, standard I think is fine. V, we probably should have touched Gold Paladin in some way. I would have gone for like keep Percival at 1 and choice restrict it with Gurgit. Or maybe if they wanted to go really wacky, they could go with the Sword Me restriction where you can only play it with Liberator grade 3s, so you have to use it with like bluish flames only.
Oh, that's pretty
Oh,
interesting.
yeah,
I
that'd be pretty
forgot
good.
about that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was like the one time they ever used that restriction, and it was really funny.
Yeah, it
let's
also doesn't nuke Liberators because right now if they have to play with 1, it really hurts. Like,
Yeah, so that seems like an option they could have taken if they wanted to like keep it within its intended archetype, is to give the Sword Me restriction. For premium, I don't know too much about Nightmare Dolls, so I'm just going to go with what you guys said about Ginny and Leslie. It seems like the Order Colony hit was doing its intended job. Stun first to like 1 or ban seems like a pretty no-brainer choice, especially with the upcoming V stuff, because that just looks ridiculous. I'm kind of leaning towards like pre-banning Odysseus just because even resolving it like once, you still gain massive advantage. And Genovius has a search skill, so you're like pretty consistent with it. And also opens up the possibility of just doing that multiple times with all 4 copies and just starting your turn on like +8 with 1,000,000 Excel circles. So yeah, like I would pre-ban Odysseus personally just because it seems really insane if you can resolve it. Like fully with all 4 copies, but even 1 is still like 2 Excel circles. If you're playing Excel 2, you drew cards. Genovius can use his search skill twice because you rerode. And Odysseus is calling things out, so you're never minusing at any point in this interaction.
Mm.
Like, it just seems really strong, even resolving it the one time. Like maybe Odysseus to 1 is okay. Just like if you do it, and if you don't, whatever.
Yeah, because like
You
they
have
don't really
cards
have
in
a
Spaghetti that
script.
revive it, so you can call
That's
over it and revive it.
That's
pretty
true.
funny. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking maybe just ban Odysseus because like even resolving it once is very strong.
Okay. That was something I didn't really take into consideration.
I just wanted to see someone do it.
What? Oh, see the Odysseus thing go off. I looked through my comments. I couldn't find. I knew I had a set somewhere.
I like a little bit of mayhem.
A little bit of mayhem, just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like if you pre-ban stuff, it feels really weird. Like,
Yeah.
why even print new cards? Like, like right now, Master Duel in Yu-Gi-Oh is getting the new adventure stuff. I don't know if anyone here plays Yu-Gi-Oh, and they like pre-limited stuff. I'm like, why? Why even bring them? Like, why are you pre? It just feels a bit weird. But I do get it. Like, it's very possible that once I've played with them, I'm like, get rid of this, f this. The season's over. I hate this. But but it's also odd because like it kind of feels like you shouldn't have printed the cards in the first place. Then like the new stuff, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, although in this case, it's like this was a V collection support. They probably just didn't think about Odysseus.
Yeah, but did anyone wish for Ripple support?
Was they had to retrain something in V collection.
When I first heard the rumor it was going to be Ripples, I was just like, oh my god.
Imagine what I thought when they told me 7Cs was getting support.
Tragic.
When it
I'm
was
so
like,
sorry.
oh, there's one marker in the set. I'm like, no, please, no, please, no, please, no. Make it a cradle marker, please, please, please. And it's treasure marker. No.
That's so sad.
Because I just know that shit will not be played in premium. Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone figures something crazy out. But it's just like all these.
I was looking at all of the strides just to try and see if there was anything that could happen, and it's like Bad Bounty is the one that like goes back and leaves your Vanguard standing, so that you can try to do everything with Night Mist. But like that seems terrible.
Yeah, you could just go Nitros, like.
Like we've always done.
Yes, exactly.
It always bothers me when someone's like, all right, so the first part of the game you want to write this, and then like later in the game you want to write that. I'm like, it's not going to work. It almost never works unless one directly searches the other.
I played Berkiner. I know how this goes.
The only thing I had in mind with that 7C support was some people were saying, oh, we should ban Skull Dragon. I'm like, first of all, no. Secondly, now we have another Skull Dragon. So if they ever take away my boy, I can just play this like weird snake thing instead with a bunch of 7Cs. I don't think it'll be good though. But
I don't mind
Jello
Skull Dragon.
snake.
That card's sweet.
Yeah, there are also a bunch of people saying to ban Crystal Luster, which seems incorrect.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because it's like, it's not very future-proofed. But right now, it's
true.
Like, not.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same logic as Stunverse, right? Where it's like, it just doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
With
It's not
what could
future-proof,
happen.
but like the combo with Solomon, I don't think is as strong as people think it is, because whenever I try testing with Jewel Knights, it's like I don't have enough cards to actually pull this combo off.
That's what happened when I played Richard back at locals this week, because he would like get the restand, or like he would just be like scrambling to get enough Jewel Knights on board to like get the thing off.
Well, yeah, because you have to like call 3 cards. Both players have to be at grade 3, and you have to Soul Blast 4, and there's always one part of the combo missing to do the whole thing with like Crystal Luster copying Salome.
It's also like when your entire game plan depends on you reaching second stride, and your deck doesn't inherently like. I mean, it most of the cards go like +1, -1, right? Because you have to like call over and so forth. So when your deck isn't inherently plussing like crazy, if your entire thing depends on second stride, it also feels like kind of weird.
You have to not fall behind, and then, well,
yeah,
yes.
Somebody posted this on Twitter. I thought I'd put it up here just for the.
Yep. I saw that as well.
He lives.
Yeah. I remember, like, right after the ban list, the first thing I saw Derek Dow tweeting is, "I love Pale Moon."
Yes, I saw that too. I couldn't believe this. Like, so many people were crying about this deck, and like it was public enemy number one.
Dolls or
Yeah, Dolls.
yeah.
Because like Dolls was already crazy when BRO happened, whereas
Mhm.
Order Colony really only entered the picture with the new clan collection, because that's how we got Brilliant Blister.
Mm-hmm.
Because without Brilliant Blister, the deck, it was already decent, but Brilliant Blister really pushed it over the edge.
I hate
It was
that card.
It was that X factor to like put the kibosh on any sort of like return pressure.
Yes. Yeah, because like your okay, this is gonna sound ridiculous. Even when your on ride draws 4, you can still have hand problems. And so Brilliant Blister then, pushing your opponent back a little bit, that can make the difference very often.
I don't want to have to play this card.
Yes.
It's also one of those things where you go, okay, well, it only works if the Vanguard's rested to like,
yeah,
trip
so you have to
something.
play around it weirdly.
Yeah, so you got to be like, all right, I'm attacking with Vanguard last, and for some decks, that sucks so hard.
I remember when
Spike
testing Order
Brothers.
Colony.
Spike Brothers.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember when testing Order Colony at first and against Luard, and I hadn't like made the list very optimal, so I was giving up the Grade 2 game. And I was like super excited to go into Brilliant Blister, and then I was like doing the Luard attack pattern and noticed, fuck, there's like no moment where this Brilliant Blister does anything. It was the only time it mattered, Brilliant Blister against Luard, is if they hit the double stand. Because then the Vanguard is resting, and they attack with something, and you can Brilliant Blister the Dagda. And any other point, the Brilliant Blister was dead.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, good for the health of the game on the whole, but yes, bad for Order Colony.
No, afterwards I figured out that we could just, ram the deck full of Grade 2 game pieces, and then they just never get a stride. That was
yeah, that makes sense.
the backup plan.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate development in the Mega Colony.
Yeah, it's basically Beetle armor that does everything. Like, I don't know how excited people are to talk about Mega Colony, but like we knew early on in the season, like at the start of the season, we knew like the way you beat the deck is keeping 2 rear guards in the back row standing. Because what that does is that Giraffa in your Grade 2 game isn't drawing you a card every turn. And going +1 every turn is like broken as hell. Obviously, it also breaks true heal guards. So like heal guardians wouldn't do anything. You couldn't 15k no pass. Basically, you were always going to take a Vanguard attack, and they were always going to go +1, which is what makes that deck insane. But so the trick for that was keeping 2 rear guards in the back standing. But obviously, early on in the season, no one had practiced to a point where they figured that out. So I played 2 Beetle armor, which rests stuff forcibly early on. But I also knew, like, by the end of the season, everyone's going to do this properly. So then I'll play 4 Beetle armor, so they never can do the 2 stand trick. And basically, like, for BSF London, I just that's when I swapped to the 4. And basically, people were always trying that, like, keeping standing, it never mattered. So the second you, like, add those Beetles in, there was, like, no proper counter either. So yeah, the Grade 2 game was just completely cracked in that deck.
Yeah, your top 5 Grade 3 searcher is also like especially good in that deck. Because the condition for the extra 5k is like nothing. Oh no, can't have something standing in the same column. Like, who cares? A and B, it would be like check top 5, grab the book, ditch the book. All right, we're set up for turn 3.
Yes. Or you just find your persona right, and you're also very, very happy.
Yeah. Or if it's something like that's not, you can just put it back with, Dapper Beetle or High Class Moth.
Yeah, High Class Moth. Yeah. And High Class Moth is also a Grade 3 index, so your Grade 3 searcher finds it as well. So if you're like, damn, I need counter charge, you just Dorcas, find it, super happy.
Grab them, yeah. No, everything just fit together perfectly.
Yes. Beautiful deck.
Yeah.
Well, what's everyone planning to bring to BRO now that we have the ban list?
Okay. Being that it's what I took to what was it? The regional. I'm sorry, I had a seizure last night. I'm a little brain foggy.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
I have epilepsy. Don't worry about it. So, being that I brought Tachikaze to that last one, I know the deck super well, and it's probably the most competitively viable thing I own. That's what I'm going to bring. I've been tweaking it constantly and testing a lot, so I think that's probably my best bet.
I'm just gonna take Spike Brothers. I don't know if I might skip V, but
I'm probably gonna skip V too because like all I have is like Polaris Race Stand. Who gives a fuck? That's
if we were getting the new clan collection, I think I'd be more inclined to play V.
Mm-hmm.
But because then I could play Spikes there also. However, yeah, no, I don't have very many V decks, and I'm just gonna skip it. And then Kyrie and Standard, of course.
Okay. So I'm probably going to bring some Bermuda deck. Like now that he's are thinking that like Order Colony isn't a thing, like probably just Prisms, because that seems like the most no-brainer one. Because otherwise I was like starting to workshop some sort of weird Anjay variant, just so like the bounce to hand mechanic gets around Gridora. But if I don't have to do that, then Prisms are the no-brainer. V, I don't know. I have to find like 2 cards to put into a V deck for Jewel Knights, and I like don't know what 2 cards.
is
And
it
then-
two actual like things on a deck list sheet, or is it like literally 2 cards in the deck from 48 to 50? Got to put something.
Yeah, 2 cards from 48 to 50.
Okay.
So yeah, I have to go figure that out probably by like tomorrow, just so it gets. Actually, no, I have an extra week for V, so like.
Go message Richard. He plays Dual Knights too.
Yeah, I'll probably just like look around different deck lists, and then Standard. I'm going to bring one of my Copium decks instead of Kyrie because I hate myself.
You fool.
Sorga, let's go.
I mean, I was probably going to bring something like Bob Sagra because I had it SP until the recent like Standard collection.
Oh, damn. So for me, at first, actually, I thought like Wiggums that they wouldn't hit Order Colony harshly because it was new. I thought like, oh, maybe they'll get rid of the book or something. They do something like that. So I had already like figured out which orders I would be playing instead, thinking like, okay, if they get rid of book or something along those lines, I'll play like there's a Stoichea order that draws 2. So you just draw 2 or 3. And instead of Lyrical Veil, then I wanted to add the Nectar of Sensation or whatever the hell it's called, because it would basically do what the book did in terms of like finishing power. You would suddenly have like a really big attacker. So I would just play those 2 orders, change some things around. But then they nuked that deck, so now I'm like, well, I tried the Gridora thing. It just doesn't work.
No, guys,
it's cope.
Get Flagbird to work.
I tried Flagbird like with a little bit of a test handing thing, but I don't know. Like it has the same fragility issue that the Grun Gridora has, but then without a protect marker. So like the aggression is there, but I don't like playing decks that don't have massive hand. Because like if you get unlucky against someone who you're supposed to beat, a small hand, like there's no way to get around that. Whereas if you have a big hand, even if you get unlucky in some way, you can always like extend maybe 1 more turn, and that 1 more turn might be like how you win. So I feel much more comfortable with like control decks or mid-range decks, whatever you want to call it, rather than aggro ones. So yeah, I wouldn't play Flagbird Colony. I don't really know what I want to play, because one thing that I also tweeted out semi-jokingly but semi-seriously is that I don't want to play like actually good decks at BRO because it could spoil like ideas for BCS. And to me, BCS is so much more important. Like last time we had BCS in 2019, I like messed up so badly in like my meta calls that I missed out on Worlds. Whereas the year before I had gotten to Worlds, and I was like, I got objectively better, but I didn't qualify the time that I got better rather than before. And so that was so frustrating. I never want to do that again. So for this like season, I don't want to like randomly solve like some deck that I then get like a cool aesthetic top with in BRO, but then end up missing out on Worlds just because like I spoiled something. So now I'm like, okay, I got to play something that's like good, but not too good. So I don't know. I haven't
With your
figured it out.
platform being as large as it is, it's definitely a risk, right?
Yes.
Enough people
Yes.
know about you where, like, if they see it, someone's gonna fucking
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds almost like bragging, and I don't want to do that, but like this season, I posted like my Prism Highlander, and then people instantly copied it and started topping with it. Even though like they literally didn't exist before, like that Springfest Belgium, it was never played before in that way with Betty and all of that stuff. And then I did the same with Order Colony, and people instantly started copying it, which is like cool. Like that's a huge compliment, let's say. Also with BRO Grand Blue, fucking just everything I play now, people copy. Which again, I don't want to brag, but it's a big compliment, but it's also a big risk. And so now for BRO, I just got to figure something out that's like suboptimal but still good in a way.
That's why I'm playing That's why I'm playing Galley.
Is it suboptimal though? I don't know.
I don't
It seems
know.
pretty strong. Like
It's super fun. I know that.
Yeah.
yeah,
And like I think Neberos is enough glue to hold together any like bullshit.
any touchy deck. You can just have
Any
a
touchy
few
deck, yeah.
dinosaurs as
Yeah.
long as you have Neberos. Like
This week at locals, I was playing somebody, and this is the first time this has ever happened to me. Neberos get the restand, swing again on the second swing, over trigger.
wow, Dragon Empire over trigger.
Has never happened to me before. Because like at first, I was just running the Cry Elemental one because I was like, that would suck if I get it on the first swing because he restands before the battle ends, so it wouldn't work. And like the risk of that is so infinitesimally small compared to like getting it early or taking it on damage or whatever. And like that was the first time where it worked out in the favor because I had one card in hand when I started attacking. Cut to 10 at the end of that.
Clean, yeah.
Clean,
What about Great
yeah.
Nature? Is Great Nature really a good deck?
So there's okay. Well, I've been mostly focusing on the Tester and Researcher Fox stuff, and that doesn't come out till after. So
Right.
I think if I'm going to bring it to something, it'd be BCS.
Right.
After that,
I just need an excuse to do something with these.
Oh, very clean.
Yeah. So I guess the only question now is for the watcher/listener: did you like this ban list? What do you think they should have done? If not, yes, we know the over trigger should have been hit. Something else, everything else.
Over trigger to 4.
Yeah.
Hey, that makes Tester Fox really good because it can put them all back.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have done that a couple of times. Guard with it early, put it back. All right. Well, if you want to let us know what your opinion is, at Nexus at Night on Twitter or Instagram, or leave a comment, leave a like. Patreon.com/Nexus at Night if you want to support the show. Solemn, where can they find you and follow you?
On Twitter at Maxim Solemn. Once every few months, I'll tweet something that people get mad over, so that's always exciting.
Oh, always a good time.
Then also on YouTube, I guess, SolemnVanguard, and on Instagram at Maxim Solemn. And I'm not on TikTok. I should do that, but sadly not.
I think I'm too old for TikTok, man.
Same. Like it's where all the attention is. Like I'm a marketing nerd, and I know I should, but I'm getting old. Like,
aren't we all? How about the rest of us?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs, 2Zs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
You can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or follow my other show at Generation Dan on Twitter or Generation_Dan on Instagram. Thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next week. Until then, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
I'm Solemn.
And have a good night, everybody.